Hello, 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 friends. Welcome back to Chakras and Cusswords podcast. My name is Catherine, and I am your host. Okay, so first of all, I want to say I hope my throat doesn't sound so raspy. We have some major fires going on here in California, and it's been super smoky. And in all honesty, at first I thought, oh, am I getting sick? Like, am I getting sick? I wonder if I'm getting sick. Um, and I usually do not get sick. Like when I do get sick, it's usually like the flu or a cold or COVID. But lately I haven't really been, getting sick. I've been trying to eat right, stay fit, whatever. I was like, oh, maybe I'm getting sick. But then now I'm starting to think it's probably from the fires. Oh my gosh. Leo season, what can you say? The fires always come in full extent. Like, it's just the weather, it's just people starting them. I don't know what goes on in Leo season, but we start to get a lot of arson out here in California. So, today we're going to talk about the astrology dates for August, and we're going to do a full reflection of July. I'm going to say off the bat, July has been a heavy month. Astrologically speaking, spiritually speaking, energetically speaking, fucking July has been a big month. It's been a long month. I'm like, damn. Personally, I've had a lot of stuff kind of going on too, where it's just like, wow, I'm tired. I'm tired of all these high energy moments. But, it is what it is, right? We can live through this. We can get better. We can move. We can gain wisdom. We can also know who we do not fuck with. There's definitely been some people who made my list of I do not fuck with you. We are not friends, honey. Yes. And it's interesting because it's definitely been a month that I would say has had a lot of eye-opening revelations and also a lot of area where it reminds you to keep your energy centered within you and also not to move in areas of vengeance or spite, even when the dynamic feels like you should, but just to keep everything a little bit, contained, because I always go back to the 12 laws of karma, especially when I feel like people are testing me and trying to get me to act out of my character, as one might say. Sometimes bitches are trying to get hexed on a fucking Monday. Just joking. Just joking, friends. Just joking, friends. But in all honesty, yeah. So on July 2nd, Neptune went retrograde in Pisces. And the rumors were coming in strong about Joe Biden, honey, fuck, Joe Biden passing the torch. And we're going to get into it. I'm sure you guys already know what has happened. But we see that area of intellect, especially with Neptune. Like, remember, those rose glasses come off when Neptune goes in retrograde. There's a lot of times where the delusions and illusions feel a little bit more frank and certain. And it seems to be centered in reality. Also, we had Drake's fans attacking Rick Ross in Canada. And I guess it was after the rapper plays the Kendrick Lamar diss track, and I guess some of his friends, the Crodies went after Rick Ross, just to show that I would say violence is not the key. We need to keep these rap beefs not violent, right? But who knows what Rick Ross did. Also, around this time, a lot of people were talking about Trump. So some of the tweets, some of the dialogue was basically, if Donald Trump, a man convicted of 34 felonies, can be president of the United States, the questions, have you ever been convicted of a felony, needs to be removed off every job application in America. So I think that is important because, in all honesty, is Trump, I think we need to talk about this because is Trump a violent felon? Well, I wouldn't say he is. The fact that, he has been accused and having a lot of accusations of being very misogynist and, groping women. And I don't think he's ever been accused of actually abusing anybody. I know there's been that hush money kind of thing, but I wouldn't necessarily say he is a violent felon. And he hasn't committed heinous crimes in that fact, where some felons have. So we can't just say he's a violent felon. I mean, I guess there is some violence with that whole January 6th, where everybody stormed to the Capitol. But still, he didn't storm the Capitol. He's not the one who actually, had his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk and was, causing all the chaos and fuckery. I mean, maybe he had an influence in it, but I honestly do not think that that type of felony matches with every type of felony. And I'm not a Trump fan. I know people are like, oh, you're voting for Trump. I know you are. I know you are voting for Trump. And even if I was, can we just talk about how toxic this country has become over the two sides? Shut the fuck up. Nobody used to ask back in the day, who are you voting for? It was very personal, right? Your views on the country, very personal. Your views and values, very personal. It's now turned into a fucking football game. It's oh, you're a Democrat. Oh, you're a Republican. Oh, you don't believe in God. Oh, you don't believe in women's rights. It's just turned into a fucking shit show. I mean, in all honesty, we could have dialogue and disagree on many views and values, but I honestly think that the way the U.S. handles these elections is just barbaric. It's just starting to remind me of a football game now. We might as well start wearing Trump jerseys. I mean, I think some people do, but we might as well just start wearing Trump jerseys and, Democrat jerseys. What the fuck? And then also the dialogue was maybe Biden should use his immunity to fire 6 of the justices of the Supreme Court and place them on house arrest. Joe Biden has an opportunity to create several scouts vacancies in the funniest ways possible. So there's still a lot of talk about the Democrats and the Supreme ruling and, just this whole freaking clown show. So now basically once Neptune went retrograde, now social media was blowing up with the Supreme Court saying and canceling student loans. Everybody thought, Biden was going to cancel our student loans. That didn't happen. So people are really fucking sick of Biden shit. I don't know how else to fucking put it. People are like, Biden, since you've been in office, no pun intended, but shit has got fucked up and we're fucking sick of it. And you could really kind of see it on social media, the dialogue. And people are tired of the genocide that is happening in Gaza. And people feel like Biden has, and I know the Supreme Court and I know the Congress has a lot to do with it, but people have just been sick of Biden. And you've been seeing it. Democrats, whatever. So then there was also a lot of dialogue too about Drake again, that whole energy of, is the white boy jokes, is it because he's biracial that he's having all these problems? No, Drake, you're having these problems because you are a fucking weirdo. So the dialogue was intense. It was very reality based once Neptune went retrograde in Pisces. Also, the Oakland mayor, Shang Tao, is allegedly convicted in a sex trafficking ring. And new articles came out, and then this all kind of happened right around Mercury in Cancer trine Neptune in Pisces. Areas of the feminine in media being exposed. Definitely, I see that with that correlation of her story and the area of Mercury in Cancer trine Neptune. Then we had July 2nd, Mercury enters Leo. And it was, not too much going on. It was basically low media coverage. And then July 4th hit, and Kendrick Lamar dropped his Not Like Us video. And it was very interesting because he's a Gemini, and we had Mercury and Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius, literally occurring right on July 3rd. And then the video drops. So many subliminals, and not so subliminals targeted to Drake. I did a little breakdown of the video, and the video was like heavy streamed nonstop. I think it had like 1 million views. 1.7 million views in under an hour. People are still riding with Kendrick. Not Like Us. It has become like the California theme song. And then around this time, Biden says, no one is pushing me out. He says he is not getting pushed out. He doesn't care what y'all think. He's still riding high in this election. So we're like, okay, Biden, what the fuck? Whatever. And then a lot of people were talking about Mark Zuckerberg celebrating the 4th of July with his epic way where he was surfing in a suit and tie while holding an American flag. And I believe, was he drinking like a Coors Light? I mean, it was just so, oh God. Kendrick Lamar's release Not Like Us music video was basically taking up all the internet attention, the memes, the dialogue, the breakdown of the videos. He had an owl in there. He put the owl in the cage. We have to remember that the owl is a very spiritual, symbolic animal. And I will talk about this a little bit, but I don't want to make this podcast too long. Especially going over the reflections of July. But when we talk about Kendrick Lamar's video, there's been so much breakdown. One of the biggest things that I want to talk about was the owl. We know Drake uses the owl as representation of his OVO clique, right? That's his clique. Kendrick Lamar doesn't really have like an animal that he uses for his logo, right? It's just basically him. The owl has a lot of symbolism. The owl is seen as very wise, very knowledgeable. He is also seen as a creature of the night, somebody who hides in the shadow. The owl is also a bird of prey. And as many of you guys know, there's probably about like 3 owls that live in the tree across from me, and they come out and they fly. I got video of one. I'll put the video in the podcast. I got video of one literally like right above my head, hanging out. For the most part, owls are seen, in some ways, owls can be seen as a dark omen. I used to, growing up, especially in the Latin culture, they would say, oh, owls are a dark omen, blah, blah, blah. If you see one in the day, it's considered bad luck, all this stuff, right? I have to remember that the Latin culture is very centered around omens, suspicion. There is a lot of folklore and storytelling that occurs. For the most part, I do not see owls as bad luck. I don't see them as dark omens. I see them as creatures of the night, creatures of the shadow. we have to remember energy has its purpose. The owl is a symbolic animal. The fact that Drake uses the owl lets me know that there is some type of spiritualism. Maybe Drake might not see it. I don't know if he is that dense. But Kendrick Lamar definitely does. Kendrick Lamar has talked about Drake maybe using some ayahuasca, stripping himself down to the core and having a breakthrough. So Kendrick Lamar is very spiritual. He's very, very highly dimensional. He is very analytic in his thinking and his processes. So there's a clip in the video where Kendrick Lamar takes the owl and he basically looks at the owl. He's looking at the owl. He's holding the owl, and then he puts the owl in the cage. And then he shuts the door, and the owl looks, a little scared in the cage. And I just want to say to people who are like, oh my God, he put an owl in a cage. Honey, please take a breath. Please remember that there's rescue owls. I don't think Kendrick Lamar went out to the wild and captured this owl. This might be somebody's pet. This might be a rescue owl, whatever the fact is. He probably rented it. This obviously was not a wild owl. He seemed very domesticated for whatever reasons, right? He put the owl in the cage and he shut the door and walked away. Anytime you have a creature of prey, a spiritual symbolism, he's basically saying, I see you, you see me, I see what powers and wisdom you have and knowledge you have, but I'm going to contain you right now, and I'm putting you in this fucking cage. And he has contained Drake. We haven't heard from Drake. Drake's, just let us know that his house was flooding one day. That was about fucking it. People are saying that Drake has been happy, but there was also photos of Drake going on during the Mark Rubin white party, and Drake looked a hot mess, honey. He looked tired. He looked beat. And what's interesting is that Drake and all these like quote unquote high profile celebrities always go to this party. And a lot of people believe that there's the ending part of the Kendrick Lamar video where Kendrick Lamar is basically in all white and he's waving bye because he said because people believe that everybody was probably talking about Kendrick Lamar's video dropping when Drake was at that party. And it was kind of like another dig. I will say this. I heard that the DJ was not allowed to play any Kendrick Lamar at the party. Fuck. This beef is intense. Okay. But let me move on because I'm going to talk about this too much. I did do a video on it. It's on the YouTube and TikTok. Just look through it on the YouTube because I'm trying to work on that YouTube, babe. Ryan Garcia has been expelled from the World of Boxing Council after making racist remarks. We all have to remember, like I said, Ryan Garcia, I think he's going through some traumatic brain injury and probably some illegal drugs. There's a lot of shit going on with him. That was all around July 5th. Mars in Taurus, sextiles, pattern, and Pisces, areas of constriction. Then we have July 5th, new moon in Cancer, not a lot of news coverage. Then around July 11th, Venus enters Leo. We lost Shelley Duvall. Shelley Duvall, I did a little breakdown on her birth chart. She was in The Shining. She was an actress. We also lost a few, like we lost Richard Simmons, the workout guy. And then we also lost, what was it? Ruth, what was her name? Oh gosh. The lady who used to write the sex columns. So a lot of celebrities passed. Also around July 12th, we had Venus in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius. And this is when we get into the energy of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. I did a whole birth chart reading on about it and some of the key factors. He had that Uranus in Taurus conjunction. It was Uranus and Mars conjunction in Taurus in his, I believe, in his 10th house. So there was definitely a lot going on. We were talking about it. Check out the birth chart because I don't want to get too into it, but most of you guys know there was an attempted assassination on Donald Trump, and also Richard Simmons died. A lot of people were talking about, of course, about the assassination, and then Joe Biden. Literally a few days later, around 7/17, Joe Biden says he has COVID, and he starts to cancel some of his speeches and his public events. That's when I read Joe Biden's chart, and one of the things that I noticed was that whole that whole Mars and Uranus conjunction that was also occurring in Trump's, I believe, 10th house, was then occurring in Biden's 6th house, the house of health. And I thought, oh shit, if Biden's going to drop, he's going to drop now. And apparently that is what happened. So I read Biden's chart. Talked about why he dropped. We also had Sun in Cancer sextiles Uranus and Taurus. The energy is very heated. Mars enters Gemini. And I said when Mars enters Gemini, I know I said that in the Trump analyzation, because Trump was riding high, honey. He was having a good old funky time. He was about to win this election. Oh, yeah. He was really about to win this election. And then full moon in Capricorn hit, and shit flipped. Biden announces he will be dropping out of the presidential race and endorsing Kamala Harris. Fuck. So Miss Madame Vice President is now the runner for the presidency. And I will say I did read her birth chart. I've also read Joe's. I've read Trump's. If I was you, I would listen to all three because all three are amazing podcasts. The full moon in Capricorn, it's crazy that they're all full moon babies. Trump, full moon. Biden, full moon. Well, on the aspect of a full moon. And fucking Kamala is a full moon. It's not full moon phase, honey. It's full moon in the degrees and everything. And this announcement came out with the full moon in Capricorn. What? In the sun sign of Cancer on the second full moon of the month. And we have to remember the second full moon is considered a blue moon. The impossible has just been possible. Wow. Make sure you check out that reading because I do talk about the full moon of the second full moon of the month. And I did do a story of folklore about it. So a lot has happened since then. And since then, Kamala has taken up social media. I mean, if you would say who's winning via social media, it's going to be her. She has done a lot. People are here for it, but you still see that some people are very upset about Gaza and the fact that she was with Biden. You know, she has to do something about it. The women's issues, definitely women's rights is going to be on the forefront, and a lot of people have already raised money. So I think Trump raised like $31 million one day. Is it Kamala or fuck, I keep mispronouncing her name. Everybody says whatever. So she has raised, Mrs. Harrison has raised $81 million in one night. She also had a whole bunch of white women on Zoom saying they were riding with her, and that she raised like almost, I know she raised money, or they were like basically giving their alliance, but it was like over 160,000 women on a Zoom call. and majority of them were Caucasian. So, I mean, the stuff that, oh gosh, this stuff is just crazy. I do want to talk about the Sonia Macy case, because in all honesty, it's very important. It's a big deal. So for those who don't know, Sonia Macy was on July 6th, Sonia Macy, a 36-year-old African-American woman, was shot and killed in her home by Deputy Sean Grayson in Sangamon County. The sheriff, which is near Springfield, Illinois. So Macy had basically called 911. She felt like there was somebody possibly on her property. Gracie, the unidentified deputy, conducted a search of the area of her home, and then I guess they started having this conversation. They released the body cam footage, which I'm so glad we have body cam footage, because half of this shit would go untalked about and would be huge cover-ups. Okay, I grew up, I know everybody's like, girl, we're tired of hearing that you grew up in Oakland. I grew up in Oakland, California, and during the time that I grew up, there was a group of cops called the Riders, and they were bad. Like, not bad, but they were like bad, doing a bunch of corrupt shit. And they got exposed. Back then, they were being charged of like putting drugs on people, doing all kinds of shit. People did not trust the cops. People did not trust the cops, especially in urban metropolitan cities. People do not trust the cops. Like, they'll be like, call the firemen before you call the cops. It's just, it's just a lot of corrupt shit has happened with police departments. And I think what happened with her case was basically she was having a mental crisis. She was having some type of mental crisis. Something was going on. She was fearful of something. I don't know what happened. But basically what happened was she was directed by this police officer to go get the boiling pot of water. She had a boiling pot of water on her stove to go turn it off. And when she was holding the pot of water, she said to him, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ." That fucking set him off. And he then basically shot her 3 times. I think he was possessed by a demon, and I think he's fucking crazy. And I think a lot of these police officers should not be police officers, because even if she threw the water, okay, let's say she threw the water at him. It was so far from him that he still would not have died. She would have literally thrown it on the floor. It wouldn't have reached him. So I don't understand why he shot her. And I think and I don't understand why that saying, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ," literally set him off like that. I mean, so he's charged with manslaughter, and when his partner saw that she was shot, he ran to get help, and he basically said, "Don't bother. It was a headshot." Like, what the fuck? And then he tried to cover it up. They basically told the family, tried to make a cover up. Like, he didn't shoot her. Like, the intruder shot her. I mean, this whole situation is just crazy. So the 2 deputies, Grayson is the one who's being charged, and the second unidentified deputy responded to the call. And apparently the second unidentified deputy, I don't think he's being charged. If he tried to cover it up, he should be charged with something, but I don't think he is. Like I said, this is just a horrible situation. Just horrible, because I think she needed help. Not, obviously not to get shot. And it just brings up the whole police coming into people's homes and shooting them. It's just very unsettling and disturbing. And of course, you know, she was African American and he was Caucasian. Very sad. Very, very sad. Very sad. I feel very sad for her family. And I hope he gets prosecuted. And I hope, you know, because him shooting her in her own home as an officer, like, if he could do that to her who needed help, and obviously you could tell in the video cam something was going on. She wasn't like resisting arrest. She wasn't like fighting with them, but you could tell that she needed help. It just makes me think, what could he have done to other people? What has he done to other people? So very unsettling story. Mercury enters Virgo, the area of the domestication, the home, communication, and also the goddess. So, yeah. July 26th, Chiron goes retrograde in Aries. People were picking their fun with Joe Biden. The memes were memeing. There's this whole coconut prophecy that has been fulfilled. Something about Kamala Harris says, the lore of the coconut prophecy, understanding the context, what came before it. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree. You exist in the context of all which you live and what came before you. So I think Kamala Harris has been smashing it. She did have some energetic alignment that makes me nervous in her chart. I still think people who are going to vote for her, and then the whole Simpson prophecies as well. So make sure you check out that podcast. So let's get into the month of August. I'm hoping the month of August isn't as high energy, but I don't know. It's Leo season. Fuck. It might be. I will tell you guys this. I am going to do the birth chart of not Joe. Fuck. I'm having a Joe moment. See? And we were so hard on that little old guy. Trump and Harris. I'm going to do a birth chart where I look at the synastry. I've already done a brief one, and I do have some opinions about the astrology, but I know people want to hear a prediction. Predicting off of what I have just saw from the two, fucking Trump has some crazy astrology. I honestly think the Jupiter in Gemini is helping him. We'll see how this Mars in Gemini really affects him, because that's when he's had the hardest of times, is when Mars goes into Gemini. And I have to do a definitely really look into his chart. But the synastry between Miss Harris and Trump with the U.S. is riding with Trump, in all honesty. But he does have some aspects that are alarming. She has some aspects that are good as well. Her chart's decent. Her chart definitely is making some moves, but the aspects of what's coming up around that date. But I think and I know there's a lot of astrologers, not that many, just Salone Bella, who from the top, she was like, I don't see this election. She's like, I just don't see the energy. because something life-changing is going to happen with Trump. And I don't know if that is winning the election or if that is something else. When you look at his astrology coming up date, something's going to happen. Like I said, I'm going to do a full deep dive podcast, both charts, the date, the election date, and also the synastry of the US, and we'll get into it. Okay, so August 2nd, let's talk about this. August 2nd, we have Venus and Leo squares Uranus in Taurus. A lot of affairs, a lot of areas of tense aspects. Some areas might feel very volatile. So we're going to look at it, take it for what it is, try to maintain our energy as calm, cool, and collect, honey. We're going to see some issues with money as well. Also, the outer shift of the makeup. Definitely interesting to see how that's going to play out, considering that I believe Trump is a Gemini so sun and a Leo ascendant with a moon in Sagittarius. So that Leo ascendant will definitely making some energy with him. Venus and Virgo. Kamala had a lot of Virgo aspects that I liked in her chart. The area of Venus enters that arena of the domestication of the goddess. Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo, guys. What can we say? This summer, we've already had Jupiter, Saturn. Do we have Jupiter? Not Jupiter yet. Neptune, Saturn, Mercury, and Pluto, all in retrograde. So this summer, retrogrades. Then coming up to the election, it's going to be intense. So Mercury goes in retrograde. Should we stop manifesting? Never. Only when we're in our shadow state. The eclipses, I don't do big manifestations during retrogrades. I'm definitely not going to hex a bitch during a retrograde. Oh gosh, I had to really go over the 12 laws of karma the other day because I was like, girl, you are so close to having your name in a jar. I'm about to buy a black candle and get some nails, but let me stop. Okay, a new moon in Leo. Maybe I'll save it for the new moon. No, I'm just joking, guys. I'm just joking, friends. Fiery alignment. In all honesty, I don't need to hex anybody. I just speak my intentions. Okay, let me stop. Okay, new moon in Leo, guys. Definitely we're going to create some new energy, some new focus. We're going to believe our vision and we're going to move forward. We're going to let those haters hate from the sideline, bitches. Sun in Leo sextiles Jupiter in Gemini. Definitely getting a little spicy. Let's take advantage of it. Let's see our dreams and our leadership come into reality. We have August 9th, Juno enters Libra. This feels very nostalgic. This also feels like a good time for a wedding. It's a nice day for a white wedding. And then we also have to remember that we have Lionsgate portal, and I do have a meditation out on Lionsgate portal. I might even do a new one just because I love Lionsgate portal. It's 8/8, and this year it is in the official year of 8. Oh, it's like angel numbers, and it's happening on a Thursday. If you do want to celebrate Lionsgate portal, that would be, like, in all honesty, I would get married on Lionsgate portal. 888, bitch. Yes. I would, especially with the Mercury conjunct Venus and Virgo occurring right around 8/8. I know I did drop some wedding dates that I thought were amazing, and some numerologists thought were amazing for the year 2024. I wonder if that one was on there. I know I put that one on there, 888. Lionsgate portal, honey. I know astrologers don't love to give it recognition, but Lionsgate portal is fucking magical. We love the symbolism of the Giza pyramids, and we are going to talk about it. So I'll probably be releasing something. That's why I'm not an astrologer. I work off of energy. Mars in Gemini conjuncts Jupiter in Gemini. A lot of conversations. August 14th is definitely a high energy day, just like August 4th. So we have two dates definitely mark on your calendar, August 4th and August 14th. August 4th, let's just talk about, we have Venus enters Virgo, Mercury goes retrograde, new moon in Leo. Then we're going to head on over to August 14th. We have Mars in Gemini conjuncts Jupiter in Gemini, Mercury retrograde enters Leo. And yeah, then following up with Mars in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces. Oh, be nice on those Zoom calls, people, okay? Mercury in Leo squares Uranus and Taurus happening August 18th. We have August 18th, the Sun in Leo conjuncts Mercury in Leo. Good day to express yourself. Good day to open up that solar plex and that throat chakra, baby. Throat chakra, baby. Then we have Venus in Virgo squares Jupiter in Gemini. Let's really get into the things that matter about, really seeing our main focus and not just making decisions off of impulse. Another high energy date, big high energy. This is giving me a big energy. Ming energy. Ooh, let's talk about it. Jupiter in Gemini squares Saturn in Pisces, August 19th. Venus in Virgo opposing Saturn in Pisces. Ooh, I don't like you. August 19th. Jupiter in Gemini squaring Saturn in Pisces making me think like, it's going to be intense. And when I look at it on the calendar, it is occurring on a Monday. That might be a sick call for me. Oh, no, actually, in all honesty, I took the day off. There's certain days I know are high energy days, and those days just do not fuck with me because my energy will be raging. And also, it's a Venus and Virgo opposing Saturn and Pisces. Summer romances, relationships, feeling good. We have also full moon in Aquarius. And also because I will be doing a lot of witchy shit and I do not want to be at work. I want to be enjoying this full moon in Aquarius, doing my witchy things and being left alone. So a time to dive in to the moon circle, the collective with all your witchy friends and even some strangers, build some alliances, really get out there, enjoy that full moon in Aquarius, show how you are such a humanitarian. So I have a lot of stuff planned for this full moon in Aquarius. That's what I plan on doing. That's the mindset I'm supposed to be at. I'm trying not to let the other energy get me down. I also have Sun in Leo squares Uranus in Taurus, an area where the freedom might feel a little bit contained. So take that in mind. Also, August 22nd, Sun enters Virgo. We're going into Virgo season. Venus in Virgo squares Mars in Gemini. Beautiful, beautiful. Of times to remember, just because you are a little domesticated mama doesn't mean you need to act so feral. No, just kidding. Act feral, act crazy, act wild, have fun with it. So emotions are definitely running high this time, especially in areas of watch the mouth, girlfriend, with the Venus and Virgo squares Mars and Gemini. Don't get too spicy, especially as we're coming down from a full moon. I can see it happen. Also, we have Vesta enters Virgo. It feels beautiful. It feels aligned with the area of creation and routines. Definitely look at the health and the wealth and the patterns that lead you to that purpose. We have Ceres goes direct in Capricorn. So we are going to be making decisions and lessons centered around our goals, right? Ceres is that little pick-me-up of an asteroid. The comment, whatever you want to call it. I know I have taken a break from the astrology season. The next is going to be the destiny nodes, and we're going to cover it. The dragons. Oh, it gets deep, babe. So I'm gonna cover that. I just had to take a break from the astrology season. There's so much been going on. I really need to get to it. I know I do. I'm like, should I do the birth charts or do the astrology season? I think I'm going to do the astrology season before I do the birth charts. Oh, friends. August 28th, Mercury goes direct in Leo. We are going to be destined to stay consistent. We made it past the retrogrades. We made it past the blah, blah. And we're going to be centered in our lives and our areas of who we are and seeing how brave and courageous we are. August 29th, Venus enters Libra. And also August 29th, Venus in Libra trines Pluto in Aquarius. Karma is at your fingertips and your footprints. So definitely areas of intense karmic relationships occurring with this Venus in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius. So before you fall head over heels in love, make sure that is not a karmic tie, babe. Please, please, please. Please, please, please. Make sure that is not a toxic karmic tie. It might sound beautiful and mystical and loving, but look at that relationship for what it's worth. Don't fall crazy, kooky, being that lovable helper that you are. Okay, let's take a big deep breath. Release. Let it out. Let it out. Okay. I definitely plan on doing the astrology series, the destiny notes, because I think we need to talk about them. And I then will read the birth charts, but there's so much energetic things going on. I definitely want to do something on Lionsgate Portal. I definitely do. I love Lionsgate Portal. I feel like it's such a beautiful alignment of energy. And since it's happening on 888, what? And also, check out the meditation if you want to listen to it before. I do have it up. And then also we have the full moon in Aquarius, guys. You already know. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. I'm going to do something for that. So look out for that. And hopefully I'll get to the birth charts of Harris, Trump, and the elections. But that might not come out in August. That might come out in September. But I would like to have it out in August just because I don't, I want to look at it really and see. So thank you guys so much for listening to the astrology dates. This is always a fun podcast to go over the energy of the previous month and talk about the upcoming energy. Make sure you subscribe and also share it with a friend. Share it with your astrology baddie, your bestie, your witchy maven who is just like you. Also, check out the YouTube channel. I did a little bit of a reading on Snoop Dogg, and I also talked about Miss Harris, and I just got some random videos up there. So make sure you check out the YouTube, all astrology and energy based. So look at it. And also I feel like I've just been having so much content come out. The birth charts, I would listen to all three in chronological order, Donald, Biden, and Kamala. So definitely give it a listen, and everybody have an amazing day. Thank you so much for all the love and support. If it wasn't for you guys tuning in every week, damn, is every week too much for you? Are you sick of me yet? I will tell you September, I'm definitely traveling. I know I said I would cut back from recording in maybe August. That it might be less video format. It might just be audio. I don't know. We will see what I can get out, but definitely I'm going to do those ones. Definitely. And then we will see. Everybody have an amazing day. And I don't know if I'll do the astrology date for September. I should, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, how the traveling goes. But have a great day, everybody. Bye.